Happy Thursday, everyone! I am so glad that you are here with me. I hope you're coming in okay. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. I hope the music's not too loud, because we have a lot to get into. Eduardo says, buckle up, people. It's going to be a bumpy ride, and I agree, Eduardo. Mike Guy says, my Jew brother. I'm not Jewish, but I will say you are my brother indeed, Mike. Hello, Jem Puggy, and Yvonne, Mighty Guy, Diane, John L. Everybody says I sound good. That makes me feel good. Seventh Day Sunshine. Well, I love your comment. That's so nice of you to say you love my channel. It's kind of our channel, right? It's become something pretty beautiful. And today's show is beautiful as well. You all know that when I put those thumbnails up there, that there are a couple of different messages that are to be found. And when I put that title there, that it is there to entice you, if you will. I am indeed a fisher of men. But there's no falsehood. Today's show is about a day of atonement and how it all works together. It's amazing how quickly these shows start to unfold and unravel. It's just amazing to me. Austin Roberts wants to know where I get my energy from. Well, I don't know. I'm in my pajamas right now. So where do I get my energy from? I'm all business up top, but I'm all sleepy time below. I love my life. I love this journey that we're on. And I eat right, and I exercise, and I have a beautiful family, and I don't know, I just feel like the time is everything's kind of amped up so quickly that I feel like I have to be on my game. It would have been easier to do this show tomorrow, but I feel like it can't wait. Because it's like one of these things where if you're here ahead of time, and we get through what all of this means, everything. I'm going to be talking about all the storms, of course. Florence. Been talking about that storm before it was even a storm. People are giving me quite the hard time over one of my titles. A video, remember I said it went viral. I didn't understand how it was going to happen. I've been saying that one day things like this would happen, where things would take off again, and then boom, here it happens right around 9/11. You all know that. You also know that the shows on the outside, to people that are worldly, the people that aren't seeking the truth, the people that are lost and hateful and angry, that they will just look at that. But then they're going to be people like yourselves that are going to look at that, and they're going to look a little deeper, and they're going to say, well, what does it mean? Because perhaps maybe this knee-jerk reaction I get when I see a clickbaity title is something that should give me pause. This is funny because I did this on purpose with the show that I did on September 3rd. A lot of people saying, oh yeah, well, here's September 12th. We're still here. I said, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Right? And here we are. And look what's upon us. It's just so incredibly exciting, all of this stuff. Today's show is about the Day of Atonement, which is happening. You know this, we talked about Rosh Hashanah, that's the beginning of the new year, and then you have the Day of Atonement, which happens September 18th. And then after September 18th, there is this time of mourning, if you will, this time of, basically, it's a renewal. It's a new life. It's a day of, it's about entering into that rest. Because on the surface, this all looks like this is something so scary, and it is. But yet, if stuff like this doesn't happen, people are going to be trapped here right? People are going to be trapped here, going to be trapped in their 9-to-5 job. They're not going to understand that they're infinite beings that are lost, that died, that took upon themselves, if you will, the sins of the world. And we forgot who we were. And we believed what we were told. And so there has to be this awakening. And in the scriptures, they talk about how you're going to have these earth pangs. And you know, if you've been here long enough, you know, we've been talking about this for a while. It's going to be interesting because I'm going to lay out all my thumbnails. And it's amazing how when I look back and I looked at all these and how they lay out, I was like, wow, my goodness. It really is like we're sitting back and we're watching a story unfold. And all of us are reading the signs. And I'm getting wonderful emails and wonderful comments for so many of you that are saying, hey, Jacob, did you see this? Hey, Jacob, did you see that? And many times, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't see it. And that's why it's so important for all of us to be on the same page and to be seeking more, no matter what the cost, right? So let's take a look at this thumbnail. Enter the ark. For the people of the world, you're going to think it's like you need that boat because, of course, a terrible, 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 terrible flood's coming, right? That's what everybody's going to think on the surface. But yet the ark is it's where the holiest of holies is. It's where the Spirit of God is, if you will. It's within you. It's the kingdom of heaven. And when you enter into it, you find shelter from the storm. Okay? My goodness, you look at the path of Florence. Whew. And I'm on a little Long Island. And I am so grateful. Well, we don't even know what's going to happen with this storm, but I will say that while all of this stuff plays out, there's something else that's happening too at the exact same time. In the Middle East, they're working on this peace deal. They're trying to get together. Of course, I said the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, which is coming up. Whew, what a show we have. What a show. So you're going to see off to the right, you see this is the scapegoat. And if you know what a scapegoat is, it's basically you take all the sins of the people and you symbolically you say to everybody, we all messed up. Okay, so we're going to put it on this one goat, and we're going to let it go. We're going to let it into the wilderness. Before that, we're going to do a bunch of sacrifice and everything else. So in other words, that we've all messed up. We've all messed up. We've all fallen short. We've all been arrogant, hateful, blind fools. We've all messed up. And we see that perhaps our life wasn't so fulfilled until we started seeking a little bit more. And then we say, well, maybe if there is more, then maybe I want to be more. I don't want to hate my neighbor anymore. I don't want to lust after this person anymore. I don't want to spew venom on that person over there. I don't want to, covet my friend's job, or I don't want to, I don't want to hate my children. I don't want to hate my wife. I don't want to hate my husband. I don't want to hate my mother or my father. I don't want to feel so lost and insignificant and alone. Sin. That's what sin is. It's to miss the mark, to not understand who you are. You're more than you know. I've been saying this for a while, right? Hopefully it's starting to click in with you. So basically everybody collectively comes together and we put all of that nonsense onto the scapegoat, and we say, you know what? Let's just let the scapegoat go. And it's time to live anew. Live anew. The past doesn't exist anymore. The devil, spelled backwards, my friends, is lived. The accuser of the brethren, right? It's kind of that voice in your head that's always making you feel bad, right? You can't do a live stream today. No. You can't do that because you just had a problem with that. Or, right? All these little things. It's the accuser. That's the thing that was cast into the world that I was talking about with the dragon and all that jazz, remember? We saw it literally playing out. We're about to come to a time where I think that we are going to be so in control, right, that we don't got to listen to it anymore. And that's going to make it angry, okay? So you got this thing, whether you want to call it the devil, you want to call it the Antichrist, you want to call it the id, whatever you want to call it. Okay? You got this thing that, used to control you for so long, kept you miserable for so long, but all of a sudden, you don't want it anymore. So you say no more. And it's kind of like symbolic where, Jesus cast the lies into the demons, into the swine, and then they went steep down into the cliff. And of course, a swine is a carnal person. That's why you don't cast your pearls before them. So in other words, the lies of the world are going to be swallowed by people that are liars, not you. And so there has to be some kind of a humbling. There has to be some kind of a hobbling. There has to be something to get the liars of the world to say, well, maybe there's more. And so you have all these stories being played out in the storms. I'm going to get into them. I just did a video just a little while ago about the 3 storms and the meanings of their names. Did a video last year, 1 year to the date of that video, of another 3 storms and their names. I'm going to bring you another storm, another 2 storms that happened today. And this is thanks to not one, but it must have been 10 of you sending over comments about Mary, and Jose, Joseph. Wonderful, right? Interesting to think that this all happened right before that September 23rd sign, that you had Mary, which in Koine Greek means man's rebellion. Literally, man's rebellion, or rebellion from truth. So Mary is symbolic of how we've all rebelled. Mary's us, symbolically speaking. But out of our rebellion and out of our illusion, it's interesting too, because this is for the mature. Queen Maya, who gave birth to Siddhartha, Maya in Buddhism is the illusion. It's the rebellion of truth. So out of Queen Maya, out of the illusion, out of rebellion comes the one who's enlightened. Out of Mary, man's rebellion. I know people are going to be like, no, that's what the name means. That's why there's a lot of Miriams, a lot of Marthas, a lot of Marys. Okay? You put them together, you have Joseph, which means God is added. Mary, which means man's rebellion, or rebellion. Then you have Jesus. Well, Yahshua, because Jesus was I was throwing at, it actually should be Yahshua, which is Joshua. If you're, your name's Josh, that's what they would call you today. Jesus of Nazareth. A Nazarite is one separated from the world. So you have the names of each of these spelling out something. God is added, Joseph, to man's rebellion, Mary. Salvation, Jesus. And separated them from the world, Jesus of Nazareth. Isn't it interesting that we had God is added to man's rebellion, and then Maria decimates Puerto Rico, the rich port. We're full, right? These poor people, how many thousands of people have lost their lives, right? We see arguments over how many people died and how many people didn't die, and responses and everything else. We don't see anybody talking about seeking more, right? I'm not even going to say prayer. I mean, prayer is important, but it's time to atone for our sins. It's time to enter the ark, people. This is going to be a fun show, right? Now, remember I was talking about the storms. So these are the storms that are coming our way. This is good news. This is something I believe is pretty valuable. How many of you in the chat room saw this? I'd be interested to think. Did any of you did you take something away from that? By the way, look at that thumbnail. I hid the dragon in it. Take a look, right? You see that? That's the dead dragon from Game of Thrones with the Night King riding it. I kind of hid that in there because the dragon was about to flood. You see, now I put this up. Now this was from Virginia, the Virgin. Did you all understand kind of what I was saying with this? Because a lot of people, they didn't really understand it. And they didn't understand the video before it as well. I want to let you all know something, that like everything that I throw at you is almost like I want it to be a little bit of a puzzle. I want you to seek a little bit more, because it's kind of like in life we need to seek more. So when I put stuff out like this, take a second to look at the thumbnail and try to like say, okay, what does this spiritually mean? Like I said, life is a big picture. So we have these storms. We have Florence. It's about a blossoming, about a budding. Aaron's Rob. Isaac. Now, let's go to Isaac for a second, okay? I want to show you something. Look to the left of the screen. You have Isaac right there on the bottom, okay? He was sacrificed. He was supposed to be sacrificed by Abraham. God told Abraham to sacrifice his child. There is a symbolic meaning to this. Let me come live to you for a second, because a lot of people are going to say, well, how can God do that? Well, everything works together for the good. And if you think about things for a second, if we live by a rule that I live by, which is you reap what you sow. If you do good, you get good, right? If you do bad, you get bad. If you check out before the finish line, you start again. It's kind of like one of those things. Like that's the rules. Okay? Those are the rules. That's what I live by. That's why it's important to do good. They say blessed are those that do good, right? It's like peace if you do good. If you're kind, and how do you do it? By loving. Okay, so let's get back to this for a second. So you see Isaac there. Now, it's about sacrificing something. It's interesting that that is going on at the exact same time. But Isaac means he shall laugh. Now, I explained this in that video. The video, which, by the way, a lot of people, we're going to get into that. We're going to have some fun with some comments, too. So Isaac was... he was the sacrifice, but God prepared instead a ram. And it's an interesting story, because we need to learn how to lay down our lives, because the lives that we have in the world are a lie, mainly. I mean, think about this, right? Everything that you're living right now is you've been formed. Been formed to think politically a certain way. You've been formed to think religiously a certain way. You've been formed to dress a certain way. You've been formed to eat a certain way. Been programmed. The master is the one that comes into the world, and we died to the truth of who we were. We took upon ourselves the sins of the world. We were said, your name is Jacob, right? I'm like, no, my name's going to be Israel. That's what I am. That's why I've been saying, by the way, Israel lately. I'm trying to put it out there because it's a new day. So it's time for the new man. This the joy, the hope, the promised land. And how can I declare such things when you have such storms coming our way? Because I see such great symbolism in it. Such great symbolism. The scapegoat. Going to put it all on somebody and then going to let it go. We're going to let the past be. That's a beautiful thing. A lot of people think that, if you just do a certain thing, you say a couple of magic words, that's it, you're saved. Isn't that interesting? As they then, cheat on their wives, condemn people, cheat on their husbands, do drugs, do this, do that. They're not stable, they're not happy, they're lost because they didn't understand that they had to lay down their life. They had to deny themselves, which doesn't mean deprive. That's what has been taught. To deny yourself means that the idea of who you think you are it's not you. I deny it. I'm who God says I am, right? God says I am that I am. That's his name. I will be whatever I will be. When you understand that you're not a product of this world, that you're in the world but you're not of it, then you rise again out of the dead. The dead, the carnally minded. These storms are about all of this. So let's talk about this. Okay, so we have these storms. And do you know there was another storm, by the way, Olivia, which means olive branch. I just find it all fascinating. Now, I started saying that, and this was, the track of the storm hadn't really even been out there yet, but they weren't saying Virginia. And they're really not saying Virginia now, but I had said that wouldn't it be interesting, because the story is, like if everything goes in order, and we're going to get to all my thumbnails, and it actually seems like it's playing all out in order, which is so cool. Then there might be some devastating, flooding that would come to Virginia. I don't want to say that because like I said, I want everything to fizzle out. I want there to be a miracle. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not I don't have a crystal ball like some people said. I'm going to get to those in the comments too. But I know all of you, you're here. You know me better than this. So you have these storms. And as this is happening, these are the storms that happen 1 year to the date. Pure war shall God increase, or we shall be at war within, so God can increase our purity. Welcome to Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great is this world system. Babylon means confusion with mixture. Okay? That's what it means. You're confused. Nobody talks the same anymore. Nobody understands each other. Everybody's on their own. Everybody has their own truth, right? Nobody knows what the truth is. There's so much fake news because the flood, so many lies that were spewed into the world by the dragon, right? Because it knew that its day was short. So it's like anything else. If you have some kind of technology that's becoming obsolete, it's gonna fight for survival. This technology, if you want to call it technology, this sheepdog, if you will, the adversary, the one that either if you follow the truth, it's gonna be a beautiful, joyful, and if you're gonna love, it's gonna be wonderful. And that doesn't mean the storms don't come. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be in the midst of a bunch of madness like this. It just means that you understand and no matter what, you're going to thrive. No matter what, you will always have more than you need. But you won't be greedy, It's just, people have to wake up to this. And I'm thinking that channels like mine and people like you are going to become a bigger light in the world, and you're going to kind of encourage people to seek the truth. Not seek me, not seek you, not seek, Joey, the reverend on the corner, but seek the truth. You have these storms, 1 year to the day, but then there were 3 other storms. 3 other storms took shape, and I'm going to get to that. But before I do, I want to address the apocalypse comment. Y'all know I'm getting trolled real hard. It's a beautiful and interesting thing, and I get it. But I did this on purpose for a reason. I got to tell you, and I think it's working. All right, so I want to first address this now. You look at the title. And you see apocalypse comment arrives September 11, 2018, ? Apocalypse is in quotations. Will the dragon's tail drag a third of the stars with it? And then in the description you see, an apocalypse is an unveiling. Don't judge the catch by the fisherman's bait. There's a spiritual significance to all of this, which many haters will miss. I hate that I said haters, but I was feeling hip, right? Sparky the Bear says we're all going to die again. No, we're not. We're going to die to the idea of who we think we are. That's the point. You're dead, Sparky. You're dead. That's why you're making light of the fact that we got these crazy storms going on. You see what I'm saying? They don't look a little bit deeper, and if they looked a little bit deeper and they didn't judge, that's the problem today is with the judgment. Now, I did this video, and you can go back and see it again and watch it. And this is the one that sort of went mini viral. It's I don't know, 64,000 views or something right now, right? But I'm getting a lot of hate, and it's really kind of funny. I mean, it's really kind of funny. Let me just pull this up. And I don't want anybody to, by the way, because these are cool people, all right? And I'm not showing you all the bad stuff. So, wrong again, paranoid crazies. And then I wrote, watch the video. An apocalypse is an unveiling. The description alone proves you misjudged and should have instead watched, because a shift has indeed begun. Hence, Flores being played out right now. And then Scott writes, Jacob, yeah, but when people cry in end times is here, and we have proof for over 2,000 years. I mean, how many times you got it wrong? And every time, you see how, right? All I had to say was, look, just take a look again. And then I said, it wasn't about date setting. Watch the video and stop misjudging. You might learn something interesting. And then gotcha. Title was clickbait then, ha. Don't judge the catch by the fisherman's bait. Not really clickbaity, because an apocalypse is an unveiling. And I thought that an unveiling would begin as the comet arrived on September 11th, which also happened to coincide with so many incredible world events. All of this stuff is taking place, people. This is not make-believe. It's just fun to revel in it. Because we can all learn to be better, right? And we can all live better. We can all be kind. And when bad things happen, many people, they rise up. They rise up. So, I had people saying all sorts of things, like people prophesying lies on YouTube, blah, and I'll account for every word. Then I said, if you watch the video instead of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, did I reference you in particular? No. It's once again, people, please, I'm not even going to show the other ones because I don't want any. I know all of you wouldn't go and bother, because all of them responded in kind very nicely. I don't want anybody to ever attack somebody, put somebody down, and I'm not going to make fun of them either because I get it. I mean, it's a little much sometimes, but it's like it's exciting for me. It's like I'm part of. I want to enjoy this creation as well as it's playing out through me with you. I mean, is there anything wrong with that? Let's take a look at some of my kooky titles. Let's go back a little bit, all right? Let's go back to bottom right. This is just over let me see. I'm going to go over here. What is this, like a month ago? Just a little over a month ago. Okay, so you see that picture of Alex Jones there with YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where I got a picture of a guy about to cut his head off with Q in the center and Google in the background, right? And I say, now the real censorship will begin. That was like 3 days before he was banned from all of those platforms. It's like coincidences, right? Things happening, strange. And then you look at Thrive in any relationship. Scientists, there's a dire warning. It can't be stopped, right? Buckle up. All of these things because I'm talking about the new day that's coming. And while the new day that's coming, then the liars of the world, they're also heralding their great thing, whatever that is. Their spooky monster, right? And it's blasphemy, and that's happening right now. Right now, there's oh God, Rihanna just put a video out. I don't even know how to address this thing. Don't even bother watching it. Oh God, I did that, now you're gonna watch. It's like, what's going on? These celebrities are doing such weird things. All of them playing out all of this Queen of Babylon, Queen of Heaven, all of this craziness. At the same time that all of this stuff is playing out in the world, and people say that there's nothing spiritual going on. You think that they're doing videos like this because they don't think anything spiritual's coming on? Then the video after that, in the last days, perilous times will come, right? And then what are we saved from? But then the next one, 3 weeks, the days of Noah, all about the flood and about the bath mat. I was talking about how they're heralding this great day. And then, of course, the flesh-eating STD, I just thought that was just funny. I just thought of a zombie. It's terrible. Moving on. See, now this is why I say, are you sure if I'm supposed to do something? I mean, I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. I got love. That's what's important. Finally, intelligent design, proof, right? The signal arrives. And then you have 9/11. This is 1 week ago. Russia prepares for war. And then you have the apocalypse comet. Now, if you look at that thumbnail, let me make it a little bigger so I can explain this to you. Because, I don't want people to think I'm like that guy, but yet I kind of do at the same time, because I kind of in my novel, I talked about Thomas. He wrote this thing where he said that as man has been living in the trees of their imagination, so I use their imagination to lead them back out. That's why I had I knew that they were going to do this. I mean, I knew it. So, that's why I put it I explained it, and I put it right on the thumbnail where it says apocalypse and uncovering, right? I mean, I put it right there. And then if you listened, all of you who listened, you understood what it meant. I didn't say that the world was going to blow up, but I did say some, it has to be earth shaking. It has to be. It has to be like Puerto Rico, Harvey. It has to be. Because nobody's paying attention and no one cares. Look at how terrible the world's become since just last year. But there's this scapegoat, right? Scapegoat, maybe the storms fizzle out. Maybe we can do something about it. Maybe we lay down our life for the lives of others. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to get to that. It's just, I do this because I have this great passion that all of this is meant to be, you know? And I don't think that any of it is by chance. I don't think it was by chance that right before the September 3rd sign, 23rd sign, 2000, where the Virgo was crowned with 12 stars, right? And Jupiter was literally in what would appear to be Virgo's womb. Now we're talking about the constellation. If you don't know anything about this, go back and watch my September 23rd sign. See how excited I was when everybody was saying the world was coming to an end. I said, no, you don't get it. This is just the beginning, and it's going to take a little time, then it's going to get really weird and really hard, and then good things, okay? So you literally had that, and at the exact same time, that comet that passed on September 11th, that's why I called it the Apocalypse Comet, that was discovered, which happens to be the parent body of the Draconid, right, meteor shower. It's a comet whose tail it's a meteor shower, and this tail is going to be coming towards us in October. Never said that it's going to be, crashing into us, but I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, like some people said. And then they said a bunch of other bad words, like a lot of bad words. And I said, why are you such a potty mouth? I said back, and I said, just watch the video. You might like it. You might like me. I'm cool. I'm hip. It's a fire video. I like to do that to give my kids a hard time. So right before September 23rd, you think it's strange at all that Maria and Jose, and then you see Lee there, right? This is interesting. So there's a passage in Scripture where it talks about Christ coming in the clouds. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what it is. But the story's coming in the clouds, right? The story's coming in the clouds. It's right there. You have Joseph, Mary, and then you got Lee. Now that word Lee, Lee follows the path of, it's kind of like when a field is cleared, then it dwells there. So Lee's like waiting for things to be cleared away. Lee's like waiting for things to be cleared away. Okay, so you have Jose, and you know what Maria did, right? What did Maria do? Devastated Puerto Rico. Do you know the date? Because see, when you're giving birth, right? It's like, I'm gonna die, and then there's birth, and then there's the afterbirth. This was the afterbirth in Puerto Rico, September 23rd, 2017. You see how it gets interesting? And it's like I knew there was something, I just didn't. That's when it left. And then look at this one. Now, I want you to really pay attention to this one. I hope the music's playing because this is where it gets really cool, right? I hope you can hear the music. There's a little line in this title. Storm turns towards U.S. East Coast. It's like exactly a year later. It's weird. All of that stuff happening, the same time you got that sign in heaven. Jupiter comes out of the womb. The storm has left Puerto Rico. There's the aftermath. To this day, people don't have power. What is going to keep people going if they have faith in nothing? I don't tell you what to have faith in because I have faith in my God, the creator of everything that is. I give myself to, I've dedicated my life to, because if it's the only thing that's real, that's kind of the only smart thing to do, right? Which is probably why I've also been the head writer of World Wrestling Entertainment, and I was a poor kid. My backyard was Adam's garden. I grew up for 6 years. It was my grandmother from a project never met my father. I end up the head writer for World Wrestling, writing stuff about Vince McMahon and how this corrupt system is polluting the world, and him taking it and saying good, and then it's, whew, and they don't even know who I am, right? I'm just this kid. And then I become the head writer of the largest Christian network in the entire world. I had faith it was going to happen because I thought that's where I was supposed to go. And just like Jacob going to Laban, the sheep shearer, because I worked for the sheep shearers, I knew I had to just, So I left, put my rod in the waters, all you, and then here we are. There's an increase. I don't know why. Right around the same time, right around when this is all going down. They say, how do you know the gospel if it's not heard everywhere, right? So, what's the good news? What's the good news? It's good news. Why does everybody see what I put up? They say it's bad because that's what everybody's used to. And so, I'm using their imagination to draw them out. Stumbled upon it. On September 23rd, a year later, right? And I say in this video, this is going to be if this is big, right? And you should see how many comments. Ha ha ha, nothing's happening. Go to hell, you effing blah blah blah, hook-nosed Jew. I know I have a big nose, but really, people. It's just the hate. These three storms, Jose and Maria, Joseph, God has added to man's rebellion, and then cleared the way and made room for someone who will indwell. And of course, we had the other three storms. Story being played out in the clouds. The word come, as I said before, erkame, means to be revealed. The story is being revealed, the spirit of the story is revealed in the clouds. And this is what everybody's talking about. A nuclear plant bracing, because there's so many plants that are in line with this. This could be just terrible. What if there's a scapegoat? See what I'm saying? What if you say, I don't want that to happen? I don't want that to happen. I'll dedicate my life to you. I'll lay down that life that I had in this world. I'll sacrifice it on the altar. That's what Isaac really represents. I'll take my YouTube channel and I know I've been waiting my whole life for it. That's what you want. And more. I want to see the world change. And I believe it can, and I know that I can't do it. It's not me. Obama says we just need decent people. Obama's the reason why so many people are hurting today. And many others that are in charge, that kill and destroy. And these are the leaders of the world. And that's why you render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. You do you follow the rules. You can be in the world and not of it. You don't ever hear me saying, we're going to take up arms and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It's not me. It's not me. I want people to love. I want people to come together. I want people to be happy in life. All of this stuff is happening at the same time. Now here's Saudi Arabia considering to go into this peace. They're thinking that this is going to happen, right? They're thinking that that he's going to get it. He's going to get it signed, and it's going to be all good. It's going to be all good. Meanwhile, we also got this crazy typhoon, and we have other storms. And I know even my buddy Bear, He texted me. He's like, "Oh, you should just see everybody going crazy." Interesting. So, here's the thing, right? This is like, I guess, today's map. They got a little, the storm's taking a little hook to the Virginia area, right? And if you look at the times, you're looking about Tuesday is where they're predicting it out to. That's when it would be completely covering Virginia, if it goes that way. Now, it may not, right? And just so you know, Tuesday is... It's the 18th. It's the Day of Atonement. It's a coincidence, right? All of this stuff happening. Interesting how... I mean, are you with me? I mean, do I sound... I don't think I sound crazy, right? I think that... Because you got so many people that say that they believe in God. And see, here's the thing, right? How many millions of people? There are people that'll strap bombs to their chest and they'll blow somebody up, right? There are people that go to war. There are people that go to civil war. There are people, and I'm talking all sides. I'm not talking just one religion. Because every religion is going to hate the other religion. And none of them realizing that. That's not love. So the God that they're worshiping is a God of death and destruction. A God that's going to say, do as I say, or I will torture you endlessly. Got a video on that. Check out if you want. These people, uneducated. They don't even... So much hate in the world. So much ignorance. So much judgment. And I'm guilty of it myself, right? I'm not there yet. I'm in process. We're all in process. And we need to be here to be in process. Jesus didn't pray, please, Father, take them out of the world, but keep them in the world when the bad times come. Because when the hard times come, they're going to need someone to light the way. And they're going to need people that can get out of their own way and allow... God is love. The Day of Atonement. Yom Kippur in Israel is a unique day. This is just stuff from Google right here. You can Google this stuff. But it's the most solemn day and most holy day of the Jewish calendar, falling every fall 10 days after Rosh Hashanah. Now, I explained how Feast of Trumpets, right, 9/11, yeah, big clickbaity title, get your attention. Get your attention. Russian war drill. This, that, the everything's coming together. Get your attention. Hello, McFly. Right? Big storm on its way. The trumpet. Do you get me? To get your attention. That's what the trumpet's for. And I said, some 10 days later, right? How many days later? You have the Day of Atonement. That's why I said in that video, I'm like, guys, and look, I'm still battling with, negative thoughts and, but just all you have to do is have the desire to just give yourself over to more. And by doing that, you ultimately have to forgive everyone. As crazy as that sounds. Mainly yourself. This is all happening. Day of Atonement. But what if there's a scapegoat? What if we all together enter the ark and we say, Lord, even if it's like geoengineered, let's stop the rain. Does that sound familiar, people? You're going to want to check out Tuesday's show because it's about the witnesses, the two witnesses. I've written essays on this. It's going to be cool when you find out who you may just be. You know, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Hope you're all buckled up. On a just a worldly note, if you're in this area, do not ride out these storms. Do not ride out these storms. Get out. 100% get out. Get away. Get out now. Don't waste another minute. Get out. That whole area. Get out. Get out. Because as I'm saying all these things, like, I don't know if I have enough faith to think that, I don't know, when Abraham, when he saw Sodom's destruction, right? Maybe there was two eclipses within 7-year period that crisscrossed, Sodom. And Abraham was standing off and it was like, would you stop if like maybe 10 people were righteous, 50? He starts off with like 50 or something, and they're like, no, what about 20? What about 25? What about 10? What about there are 5? They're like 5. There are 5 good people in this world. Would you stop? And he says, what about? And he stopped there. And Abraham, he didn't go any further. I think God only needs one. And I think that one is come. If you know what I mean. Because that's what this is all about. But we need to lay down our lives in this world. We do. We need to get it together. Maybe you remember a video I did months ago called "The Days of Awe Shall Come," right? It's interesting. I thought of that too. It was interesting. So, this is kind of this period, okay? The Day of Atonement, it's the holiest day, it's Jewish New Year. It provides prophetic insight regarding the second coming of the Messiah. That word, once again, I want to say, erchomai means revealing, manifesting. Christ comes many ways. He comes in the clouds, he comes with the saints, he comes in the saints, he comes riding a white horse, he comes in the land and the sea, he comes. It's so many ways he comes. Like lightning from heaven. The word comes means erchomai, to be revealed, to be manifest. Something that is hidden is now manifest. The lights go on. It's Christ in you. Like Paul said, it's no longer I that live, but Christ. Symbolically, Jacob saying, I'm no longer Jacob, I am now Israel. Kind of like that. It's that new day. It's the sacrificing of being ready to lay down. And guess what happens in the end? You don't have to lose your Maserati. You don't got to lose whatever you got. No matter what the cost is, it's not about material things. God doesn't care about material things. He cares about love, because we're all one. We're all in God. Everything has its existence in God. If you want to call it the quantum field, I don't know what you want to call it. You want to call it Planck level. I don't know. We're all that wave of infinite potential. And we're all the same and we're all connected. But if there's disharmony, if I'm coming against this person, if everybody's going this way and I say, I don't want to go that way. But if we come, Scripture talks about the day you come to the unity of the faith and the stature of the perfect man. That's the day that I'm looking for. That's what this is supposed to be about. It's about the revealing, the manifesting of the Anointed One, the Messiah, Christ coming again. All of this happening as symbolically it's played out in the book of Revelation, where the dragon floods the earth, tries to, but the earth swallows the flood and saves the virgin's offspring. Will the earth swallow the flood and save Virginia? So you have this scapegoat. So let me tell you a little bit about this. Let me tell you a little bit about the Day of Atonement. Okay, so this is, let me pull this out so I can see this a little better for all of you. This is when Moses came down. And you have to understand that people, people get so, everybody was jacked up. Everybody was just lost in their own Instagram, and I don't even have Instagram, but I think that's a big thing, right? Lost in their Twitter, lost in their Facebook. I got lost in it at one point. I'm not lost in it anymore. It's like you can be a slave to it or you can, flow with it. So, God commanded this one day, and he said basically he wanted everybody to come together, and Aaron would, I'll just read this to you. Aaron was supposed to lay both of his hands on the head of a live goat and confess over it all the wickedness and rebellion of the Israelites, all their sins. The Israelites. Shiloh, my daughter, she said, Dad, like a lot of the YouTubers, they have like things like, oh God, I want to vomit. The Jake Paulers or whatever. I don't know. She goes, you should call them the Israelites. I said, I'm not going to do that. But really everybody, that's kind of what you're grafted in. Even if you're wild by nature, you're grafted in. Wild by nature, Anthony works there. It's a Whole Foods store. So he's doing a good job there too. Good kid. So all the sins, and you put them on the goat's head. And then you send the goat away into the wilderness in the care of someone appointed for the task. The goat will carry on itself all their sins to a remote place, and the man shall release it into the wilderness. Sort of like we were released into the wilderness. We were kind of sacrificed, right? We took upon ourselves the sins of the world. This is not, a lot of people can't get this, but for some of you, it's going to be like, whoa, okay? Some of you. But at some point it has to be sacrificed. That like miserable, like wandering life has to be laid down. But by doing this, what this would do is it would make an atonement for the year. And of course they sacrificed, they had to go in with the bloods, and it was like basically the temple, and they'd go into the holiest of holies, and they did this once a year. And it was basically, so like everybody messed up for a year, now we get a clean slate, we're starting all over again. Do you see where this is going? Do you see why I get angry when people are like, you're a fearmonger? And I'm like, no, you don't get it. This is the Day of Atonement. We're about to atone for our sins. We're about to be set free from our foolish thinking if we lay down our life. And it's a process, right? When a child is born, it has to, it fumbles around before it can walk. And it walks funny until it can run, and then it runs and trips until it can, same thing. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's kind of like saying fear of a bicycle is the beginning of learning how to ride it. It's kind of like when you're ignorant and you're immature, you're scared of God, okay? As opposed to understanding you have 100% existence. And this world it's ours, and there's going to be a new kingdom and a new heaven and a new earth, and I'm telling you, it's coming. But for it to get there, it's got to be some other things that happen, right? Hoping it's not as spooky as it could be. I'm hoping that it's an eye-opener one way or another. The man releases the goat as a scapegoat, must then wash his clothes and bathe himself with water. Are you gonna... Let me turn on the music again. I know it's the same music, but I really do like this track. Kevin Macleod is the man. I mean, what a beautiful guy. And if you use his music, you should support him financially like I do. I mean, you have to. Whenever, it's like he adds so much. He, in this YouTube community, he's like, what a good... I don't know who he is, but God bless him. One day, when my book's a movie, I wrote him many, many years ago, when I wrote my book, many years ago, and I said, can I use one of your tracks for my website? And he said, yeah. I said, well, one day you'll score the movie. And he goes, I don't think it works like that. And I wrote him back, I said, well, you don't really know me yet. Right? Because anything's possible. With faith, all things are possible. In any event... The man who releases the goat as a scapegoat must wash his clothes and bathe himself with water. If you're releasing the scapegoat, who's the goat? The goat's the Baphomet. We got to release it. You get what I'm saying? Well, they're all worshiping it, and they're all praising it, and they're all heralding it. And they're going to try to make it because it doesn't want to give up because the technology is outdated. That's one way of looking at it. That's what Elon Musk would say, right? After saying that he's an alien. Why do people joke like that when they know they got people like me and all of you listening, right? I'm serious. I'm an alien. It was futile. I tried to warn them. I tried, but they didn't listen. I mean, come on, dude. We know you don't talk like that, unless maybe you are an alien. I don't know. And I don't really care if you are. Just, I took a little weird turn because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, see, that's the thing, is that people are going to be all spooked out if like the Anunnaki return and they're like, I am Jesus, I am your savior, I am the one. And everybody's going to be like, wow, you're right. And then things are going to be, let me show you my technology. And right, because if they're advanced beings, they could, we made you have a good explanation, as opposed to realizing that everything has its existence. Everything. Even, if my wife and I have a child, we did something, and if somebody goes in there and genetically alters it, they did something, but that life was not created. It's all that there is. So all the sin was put upon the goat, and it was thrown into the wilderness. Are you going to release it? Are you going to let that life go? Are you going to wash your clothes? And by your clothes, you're going to, like I was convicted today. I get convicted too. Because I say bad words sometimes. I drop the F-bomb. I do. When I'm trying to, when I'm talking to cool people, right? Because I just want to be cool. That's just kidding. I don't really want to be cool. I am cool. All it is just I dumb it down because I'm so cool that I'm fire. People today, they so everything's profanity is now. I mean, my son Ant, he's taken a rap class, and profanity it's encouraged in the classroom. That's how That's how far we go. Now, look, I know they're just words, and I'm not saying that it's bondage, but you don't want to be a stumbling block to anybody. And if you have perverse things coming out of your mouth, how can you lift someone out of, the depths of despair? That's why I don't ever swear on the show, or at least I'm cognizant of it. But I need to in my own life too. I need to, and if your children are this or that, I look at my beautiful children. We had dinner tonight. Dan right now, the reason why I'm doing this live stream, she's doing her Meet the Teacher. She'll be home in half an hour, and then I'm going to be done. And all the children had dinner with me, and I looked at them, and I realized that, they are my reward. And that also goes for when they're, big chooches, and they're mean and grumpy, and they make fun of me like they did. They did it all night. They made fun of me all night. It was funny, though. You release the scapegoat into the wilderness. This is the day that we're in. You have to. You got to. Because it's you want to have understanding, and you want to enter in. You want to put on those new clothes. Now in Israel, they may end up. Who knows if they'll sacrifice that red heifer? Right? Maybe that'll be a very symbolic thing. I don't know if they're going to do that or not. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to do it a certain way, but that's not the real atonement. Now, I'm going to bring you into the real atonement, okay? All of these things playing out, all the storms, right? All the stuff leading up to it. I laid a lot of stuff out. I'm not saying, it's like, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just looking at it and I'm going, well, spiritually, this is the way the story could go. And then it goes that way. Because it makes sense. Because a better day is on the horizon. And for us to get to that point, then a lot of things have to happen. And in my life, my channel would have to and it did. All around Planet 9, all that weird stuff and how that went viral. And then here it is, all of a sudden. I haven't seen it like this in a while. I'm so grateful. And at the same time, when you have, more people coming your way, you're going to have a lot more hate coming your way. right? You get that. That happens. But I use it as an opportunity, which is why I just copied and pasted. I said, look a little deeper. You know how many people come back to me and said, oh, hey, sorry. And then said, well, your title, you should have been. I said, well, maybe you should check it out. Maybe there's something to it. You took the bait, right? You came here. But you didn't see that I wasn't trying to rob you. I was trying to fill you with something. That sounds a lot worse than I wanted it to sound. How do I see? This is what I mean. I was like, how can I be right? I'm not, I meant like fill you with love and fill you with hope and fill you with faith. My goodness, good grief. That's why I got to stop saying bad words and being around people that are funny and clever and they say, bad things. It's terrible. It's terrible. The day that we're in, we gotta still have joy. We still gotta have fun with each other, okay? So let me read this to you because this is the big thing. And this is the best part is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know I'm good. Better than good. I'm not worried about a thing. There's nothing that anybody can say from anywhere that is going to stir my faith. I know because I've suffered. I've been through it. I've been sick. I've been abused. I've lost everything. I've been bullied and harassed. I've been abandoned. I've had my intestines removed. Here, let me see. Can you see my stomach there? Yeah, my intestines removed. I have my Achilles tendon snapped. I broke my neck. I'm in pain all the time. Not really in pain all the time anymore. I mean, I'm achy, but because I started eating better, and I haven't been in a hospital since I married my wife. Last time I was in the hospital, I was almost dying. I was like on my deathbed. Shiloh was turning 2 years old. Now this is a beautiful story because September, oh my God, I got to tell Shiloh to watch this part because it's a true story. I was in the hospital and this is when my first wife took off. Now, if you know, I raised my children. I'm a full-time daddy. And I met Danielle and we became the instant family. And so I had this beautiful experience of being, a single dad and also then raising a stepson he's my son, And I moved to Strong Island so that they could be closer to their mom because, they need their mother, right? They also have Danielle and it's a beautiful thing. But at the time, there was a lot coming against me. I was working for this Christian network, right? And of course, because I was very vocal about my understanding that things were different and I never wanted to condemn people and I never harass people and I never wanted to beg for money and I never wanted infinite this or this and I didn't want to stand in judgment, so I was always very difficult and I would say things too, like when we'd be in meetings. I think I mentioned this, the cracks in the floor and the foundation, they kept glossing over, and I'd say things like the foundation is broken in this place, you guys gotta break it up and re-pour it. And it is. They're all broken. They're multi-millionaires. Then, of course, after I leave, you have one report after another report showing how corrupt it all is. I feel bad for them. But yet here you are. People that didn't even have faith. People that were like atheists. People that were like against it. People that were like lost, right? Or people that are found. But all of us coming together at this moment, excited for what's to come, while also nervous about what's taking place. So, she's 15, so it would have been 13 years ago. I'm in the hospital, I'm bleeding out. They can't stop the bleeding. I smoked cigarettes at this point too. It was funny. Oh God, how stupid was I? Dummy. I was raised in a house where people smoked, you're formed. And I quit, obviously. But at the time, I was going through a hard time of things, and so I was sneaking cigs here and there. And at the hospital, I was in ICU. I snuck out of the hospital to have a cigarette. Oh God, it was so terrible, right? And I remember this doctor came out and he said, "Aren't you supposed to? You're not well." I was getting blood transfusions because I was bleeding out, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. And I had called for, my children. I said, can you bring them to, at the time I was in Greenwich Hospital, can you bring them to Connecticut? And they're like, I'm not driving there, it was because no idea of the state I was in. And Shiloh's birthday was approaching, and so I was smoking a cigarette, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. And I just got a blood transfusion, and they were going to monitor me, so I figured it would be okay. Wasn't okay, but the guy was there, and he said, "How come you look so? You're okay with this? You're so young." And I wasn't so young when he was older than me, but he's like, "How come you look like you got this faith about you?" And I go, "I don't know." I said, I explained to him, I feel like I got this purpose, I feel like all this is happening for a reason. I work for this Christian network, and I may not believe what they believe, but I have a purpose, and so I know that it's not going to end here. Right? Now, this is where it gets weird. It's a true story. Is I sneak back inside, and then all of a sudden, right, start to bleed out. Just weird, the timing of things. And luckily, my doctor, who was like just the most amazing lady, Dr. Swaz, she got somebody who was a specialist, and at the time I lost so much blood I couldn't take pain medicine, so they basically gave me bowel wall angioplasty, which they had to do is they had to put me, and I was bleeding out, and they had to put this catheter in my leg up into my bowel wall, and they had to cut off an artery because they already performed the surgery, another surgery, and a balloon dilation, but the bleeding they thought stopped. It didn't stop, right? Maybe that cigarette did it, right? Idiot that I am. But as I'm bleeding out all over the table and everything else, and I'm scared because I start getting a little lightheaded, and they can't give me any pain medicine, so I'm like in this pain, and it's horrible. And they're doing this thing, and there's blood all over the table. It's like a horror scene. I look over, and he's in the corner, this dude. It turned out he was just a visiting doctor, and they were together. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and something said, "Well, you better man up now. You told them you weren't dying. You better not act scared now." Man, was I scared. You want to know? Oh, God, this gets me choked up. Courage isn't not having fear. Courage is facing it. What the hell just happened? All right, I'm courageous. Do you hear me? That's how I deal with it. Courage, facing it. This is in the book of Hebrews, one of my favorite books. I want you to really pay attention to this because this is going to pop to some people. It's going to open up to some people. The law is only a shadow of the good things that are coming, these storms. Not the realities themselves. For this reason, it can never, by the same sacrifices repeatedly, endlessly, year after year, make perfect those who draw near to worship. You can't keep sinning and then killing a goat, all right, or a bull, or a dove, or you can't keep going and giving your tithe. If you can't, right? Because then you're going to continue to sin. It's not. At some point, you got to understand that it was all just an example. It was a physical expression of what's to come spiritually for you. Been ruled by that bath mat. All the sins are upon it. Right? Let that goat go. Let it go into the wilderness where it belongs. And let it suffer. And I'll talk about the people. Because old technology dies out. You got to have the new. And the new is coming again. Otherwise, if that's the case, right, would they not have stopped being offered? If the sacrifice of an animal, wouldn't you stop if that's the end of it? That's right, there is an end to it. But no one's done it. That's the thing. No one's laid down their life completely. Because we love our lives in the Word. We love the gossip. We love it, right? We love saying that we're Christian and then telling other people that they're bad because they're Muslim. Or Jewish. I'm not Jewish. I just have an interesting nose. For the worshippers would have been cleansed once for all and would no longer have felt guilty for their sins. But those sacrifices are annual reminders of sins. It's impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. Therefore, when Christ came into the world, Scripture says, all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Wanting to know it all, wanting to be it all, wanting to feel it all, right? Wanting to be it all. Antichrist, sitting in the throne of God, declaring himself to be God, is the false idea of who you think you are. Probably going to be literally played out by somebody. We all know who. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. That's not the point. That's the outer court. I'm talking about the inner court. I'm talking about on the Day of Atonement when you go into the inner court. I'm talking about going into the holiest of holies. Within the temple of God, point to him. Teach me the truth no matter what the cost. Close your eyes, say nothing. That's it. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire. How interesting is that? Bet you feel bad about all those cupcakes you made for the fair, right? All those times that you set up those chairs with your back bothering you. I didn't care about that. If you were doing it because you wanted God to see how great you were, because that's what I do. I do this, I do that. You did it in vain. You should have been like Mary, just sitting back, kicking back and listening. With burnt offerings and sin offerings you were not pleased. Then said I said, here I am. It is written about me in the scroll, I have come to do your will, my God. Guess who else is supposed to say, here I am? You. You and you and you and you and you. I'm ready to do your will. I'm ready to do your will. And it happens usually at a very scary time. For Jesus, it was when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he knew that everybody was coming to get him and he was about to be put to death. Just like people are trying to spiritually put, whatever, my video to death by saying this, that, and the other thing, by throwing stones at it. Stones. The law, which is a shadow of things to come. There's no life in it. The wages of sin is death, and the law gives it strength. Okay? Because it tells you how bad you are all the time. The law is a shadow, and it's going bye-bye. First he said, sacrifices and offerings, burnt offerings and sin offerings you did not desire, nor were you pleased with them, though they were offered in accordance with the law. Then he said, here am I have come to do your will. He set aside the first to establish the second, and by that will, we have been made holy through the sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ once and for all. The sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ once and for all. The sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ. Who's the scapegoat? Who's the body of Christ? That's why Jesus said, take up your cross and follow me. We're supposed to follow. Right? Prophet Obadiah talked about many saviors in the day. And what I mean by that is people that are in one accord with Christ. The truth. I'm in the Father, the Father's in me, and we're in you. Right? Or in other words, he was the firstborn among many brethren. He was like the pattern. He was the way to go. He was the way, the truth, and the life. But just like me, when they asked him, how do I get to the Father? He says, when the guy came, he came and he says, good master, what must I do to inherit eternal life? People are going to be like, oh, good Jacob, you are a prophet, Jacob. And I say, what are you talking about, man? I have a potty mouth sometimes. I hope that I could just do what I'm called to do. And I've had just this, my life is beautiful because of it. And it's beautiful because of all that I've suffered and all I've endured. And I really hope that these storms that are coming, I hope that I hope it's finally a wake-up call. I really do, because the light has come. That's what this is all about. And if any of you in the chat room would like to add anything to this story, I'd like to know now. By the way, this is my website. I have a lot of I don't promote it because, I don't know if a lot of people are ready. There's a lot of essays I've written. I wrote them years ago. So long ago, because I've always been a man that was just seeking. I had to transcribe a lot of it because everything became I had everything in these little notebooks from when I was younger all the way up. So I've like hundreds of essays that I've written, and poetry and everything else. It's time to atone for our sins. Who's going to be the scapegoat? Who's going to be a scapegoat? Who's going to lay their life down for others? That's what you're supposed to do as a Christian. And how do you lay down your life for others? It's does anybody know? I'm going to go to the chat. I'm going to test you now. Does anybody know what it is? I know that there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll do a little fill. Do a little fill until then, because we got to get going soon. It's time for me to get going because Danielle's going to be pulling up any second, and I can't wait. And this was really a good show. I forgot to tell you the best part about that story. I started to cry because I said that on Shiloh's birthday on September 11th, I said, not only will I get out of the hospital, but I'm going to be there for Shiloh's birthday. And it was in a couple of days, and they were thinking I was going to be there for a while. But that thing that all came together, where I hemorrhaged and they had to do it quick, and they did it quick. I had my baby girl in Noah, she's 2 years old, in her little stroller, and I was with my pop, my grandfather. He's in his 90s, and my nanny passed. She was a big part of my life because she was helped raise me. He was a fisherman, so we were fishing. Shiloh caught 8 fish. Noah caught 3. And I didn't even bother throwing it in, But Shiloh caught 8 fish on her birthday, and I remember thinking, that was September 11th. She was 2, so it was 13 years ago. And I was out of the hospital, and I was there. And it wasn't much longer after that I had full custody of my children. I had no money. I didn't even have I was collecting bottles at one point. And here I was this big writer for this big Christian network, right? Yeah, what are you going to do, people? What are you going to do? So does anybody know what the answer is? What it means to lay down your life in the world? Does it mean that we need to go sell flowers? Does anybody know? Pink Angel, the question is, does anybody know what it means to lay down our life? Oh my goodness, John, thank you. Truth is freedom, thank you. Norman, no thanks needed. I love the channel. I look forward to new videos each week. I try to catch the live shows when I can. I've been listening for about 1.5 years, and I really enjoy what you do. Keep up the good work. Wow. And Jacob, my man, thank you. Thank you all for that. And I got to especially thank my Patreon. I don't want to go back to work for TV. I don't think I'm going to need to. All of a sudden, even at work, I've been getting more. Just things are just starting to click a little better, and it just seems like. But I know that anybody who supports this channel, not just by sharing it around and commenting and liking, but I know that anybody who financially, it means the world to me. I mean, it means more than that. It's and I will continue to just follow what I believe I'm meant to follow. What it means to lay down your old life, Brittany. Right? Let's see. Let me take a look in the chat here. Let me take a look. Let me pull up a picture so you don't have to look at me searching like a goofball. Let me put up enter the ark because I think it's time for us all to enter in. Put others before yourselves and live in love. That is RO93R. It looks like a rabbit. Roger Rabbit. Oh, go look at that. How cool is that? That's a way to spell. I don't know, with the numbers and the we'll say, put others before yourself and live in love. Yeah. So to lay down your life, let me come on over here for a second, is to somebody treat you poorly, and you don't say, I'm going to now treat them poorly. You lay down your life in this world. You lay down that was your life in this world, that you had to go toe to toe with somebody. You had to go eye for eye. That's the old way. That's the shadow. The new day, the new way is you let God take care of it, just like I always did. How do I lose everything and have a lot of bad stuff happen, and then I get my children, I get a house, I get out of debt? How does this channel just... That's why I understand. It's like you have to have this to fear the Lord, but not fear as in horror anymore. Now it's just a deep reverence for an understanding that I'm here to do your will, O Lord. And the word Lord means the existing one. I'm here to do the will of the one that exists, the only thing that really matters. And I've had enough evidence in my life to know that there is more. I mean, what else are you going to do, right? You're going to just get into arguments over whether the Earth's flat or whether the Mandela effect are real, or talk about World War III, spend hours and hours in a bunch of disturbing nonsense. Jacob Israel, Buddy Plays, says, love you, brother. Found someone who has been in the dark. All right. I don't know. Does that mean that I found somebody, or that you found? Because, see, I didn't find you, buddy. You found me, which means that you are on it, man. It's everybody's time. Or if it means that you found somebody who's in the dark and you're just loving on them and you're showing them the light. And you're saying, look, all I did was say, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. And then I allowed the truth to set me free. And I laid down my life in the world because of it. And I know a lot of you are wanting to hear something that is going to, give you hope in a world. I have no hope in this world, if you will. But I do know that good days are coming for those who seek God, who seek love, who seek the truth, who lay down their lives for Christ and become the scapegoat. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Sorry I got a little choked up. She caught 8 fish that day. It was what I needed. I was so broke. I mean, it was so weird. Because all my money was funneled over here, and I just basically walked away from everything. And it happened more than once. I lost everything more than once. And then it's brought me to here, and oh my God, my life is so full. And I hope your life is too, but it didn't get that way by putting my faith in myself. I love all of you. I'll talk to you soon. Please do subscribe, share it around, do all that stuff, and I love you all. Bye-bye. Let me just find the button so I can, do this the right way. Pray for everybody too, and really consider what I said. And get out if you're anywhere near any of the projected path. I love you all.